Time for PoE1 news, though. PoE1 news. Oh, let's go.
Over to Mark, the game director on PoE1, to show us what's in store.
Hi, Mark.
We had a lot of fun making this one, so let's just get straight into it with the trailer for Path of Exile Necropolis.
Cold flesh, dirt, maggots, and ghosts. Our job is to keep them where they belong. It's your first night, so you'll need this. A ghostly lantern for ghastly tinkering.
What is this? Okay, so you like empower the mobs, basically. Surely for more loot.
You'll learn to peer into
Oh, that's a lot of
the
text.
souls of the dead.
400% rarity.
You'll learn how to twist them. Meet me in the Necropolis.
Fracture,
You can
explicit
pilfer
modifier.
Shiny things from a corpse. But you
I saw a fracture there. That's already good
glorious
news.
Things from a soul.
Wait, it's a crafting league.
I need a grave digger.
It's harvest, but in graveyard. Yo, am I logging in as a Septime? Tears, what? Multiple Atlas. Oh my god, they did it. Scarab's overhaul. New. Oh, baby, I'm actually getting you. Wait, was that Utrecht? That was Utrecht, wasn't it? I don't want to fight Uber Utrecht. Wait, so this is the heist guy. Oh no, Lycia. Wait, I don't want to fight Uber Utrecht. What was that?
Hard, but the pay's good.
That was just like the scariest thing in the game.
In the Acropolis League, you will encounter Undertaker Aramor, a man collecting the scattered spirits of the Eternal Empire for a mysterious purpose. These spirits have begun to haunt the
Oh
monsters
no,
of
not
Raycast,
Roas.
unleashing their ancient fury and sorrow onto the world. The Undertaker will provide you with the Lantern of Aramor, a powerful family heirloom which can illuminate the wrathful spirits haunting monsters throughout Raycast. With it, the
Oh,
Undertaker hopes
already
to
dead on the
employ you
witch.
to rid Raycast of this menace, and further his cryptic cause. The lantern can be used when entering any new area.
Can
When
or has
peering
to be
through it,
used?
you can examine the spirits haunting that area.
It
The
looked like
lantern
it has to
also
be
allows
used.
you to manipulate them, letting you configure which monsters are affected by which mods. It would be wise to take your time with your decisions here, for the spirits are not forgiving.
Basically making the game harder, eh?
When peering through the lantern,
I'm okay
you can
with
also
that,
see
but
extra details
people
about
are not
packs
gonna
of
like that in
monsters the
campaign.
area. Rowers here are considered common, whereas the water elementals are more scarce. If you want things to be easier, you can put the more difficult spirits on the elementals, which you'll encounter less often. We've tried to make sure that by engaging with the lantern, you are able to intelligently control the difficulty in the Necropolis League. The spirits come in a number of forms which represent the danger they pose. For example here, the infested vultures are servant haunted, causing them to deal a small amount of increased damage. But the Vol's Vanguard are noble haunted, causing them to deal a large amount of increased
Surely
damage.
we don't need that part. We just
As
look
you
at
reach
the
higher
big
level
text.
areas in Raycast, the tear and number of spirits that are haunted
Audio is weird. It's because of the volume booster. But then you guys are gonna complain it's too quiet.
monsters will generally
See?
increase.
And now you guys gonna complain it's too quiet.
Your game knowledge can help you here.
Or is this okay?
If you're aware of the composition of a monster pack, this means certain mods will be easier to manage. For
Fine,
example,
okay.
the mod that increases a pack's damage for every monster killed has no effect on packs with a single monster, like a Devourer. However, if we found a spirit that makes the strongest monster in a pack deal 100% more damage, well, I'm going to avoid the Devourer. You might have noticed that the Lantern of Aramor provides other useful information, such as the types of abilities monsters use, or the damage types they deal. So for those who are less familiar with how these monsters work, this can be a great way to learn what you're up against. The spirits are constantly moving throughout Raycloth.
This seems very annoying to deal with in the campaign.
You can just wait a few minutes,
Feels so unnecessary,
to
man.
see what's changed. Of course, powerful spirits beget powerful rewards. There are two reasons why you might want to face a challenge now and then. Firstly, not all the spirits are malicious. Sometimes the monsters aren't haunted at all, but are instead devoted.
Nameless Seer?
These can grant
Yo,
basic
that's a login
rewards
though.
like increased experience, or bigger rewards like spawning the Nameless Seer, an NPC that will grant you a single unique item after you defeat all of the packs affected by that spirit. The more haunted monsters you defeat in the previous area before using the lantern, the more likely the devoted monsters will appear in the next area. Monsters haunted by higher tier spirits will increase the chance of the devoted appearing even more, meaning that sometimes it's worth putting the hardest modifier possible on very common monsters, if you're brave enough. Again, we've tried hard here to allow players to customize the danger and rewards as much as they can.
As long as it makes the
Aramor
campaign
is
more
an
rewarding, it
undertaking,
might be more
and
fun,
you can
genuinely.
probably guess what we're taking to him. The second main reward from the Necropolis League is monsters with unresolved anguish. Once slain, their corpses need extra
why do we
care
have
from
to
the
click that
Undertaker,
collect button
and
there?
he will offer to take them back to his necropolis and store them in the morgue.
But also that animation is cool.
Time to earn your keep. When you are ready, you can visit the morgue to view the monsters you have collected, and then get to work burying them in one of many graves in Aramor's cemetery. For example, we will bury this Katava's Herald. Aramor's mysterious soul experiments can coalesce powerful items. Here I've chosen to create a pair of boots.
This looks like very difficult for the crafting. Like, oh, this takes so long. What?
These boots are useful for my character, but aren't exactly what I hoped for. And this is where the Necropolis crafting system really shines. You'll have noticed that the corpse we collected earlier had a crafting effect on it. In fact, all collected corpses do. If you bury multiple corpses in the cemetery, all adjacent corpses can be exercised at once to create one item. All of the crafting effects on those
I
corpses
bet this
will apply
crafting
to
is
that
gonna be
same
OP
item.
once you figure out how it works.
This allows you to have either one or many different crafting projects ongoing in the cemetery. For example, next time I try to create boots, I could bury corpses that increase the chance of getting move speed modifiers. To go further, I could use these to generate higher tier modifiers. Then, I could try to bias it towards being an evasion pair with this. Finally, I'll apply some crafting effects
surely
that
he gets
improve the
something insane
probability
from
of
this,
getting
right?
good rolls. Now, let's craft our item and see what we get. As you can see now,
He did all that to get these boots? Where is the suppression, man?
we have a much
You probably
better
can't
pair
even
of
guarantee
boots,
it because it doesn't have a
forged from the
tag.
souls of our enemies.
He
use-
should have shown a high roll in. He should have shown a high roll in the crafting. Like they should have made it so the boots are like actually
The
insane.
entire cemetery to craft one item. There is always something you can do.
You
to
can't
try
just
and
show it
ensure
being
your item will be
mediocre.
as best as it can be. We hope to see some really crazy grave crafts.
Oh, that's a fractured
If you
craft
are
though.
lucky, you might find corpses with meta
I like
crafting
that.
modifiers. These can be buried to manipulate your crafting projects in more drastic ways. This one increases the potency of all crafting effects of adjacent undead corpses. Another meta crafting modifier gives a chance to drop an extra item from your craft, with all the same crafting outcomes applied. All you have to do is bury a lot of undead monsters.
That's kind of fun actually. So you can just craft 2 at a time. Adjacent mean placing. No, I think it just takes everything now. It didn't seem like placement matters.
You can also craft new unique items exclusive to the Necropolis League using this system. As you explore Raycloth, you might find the corpses of famous Eternal Empire families. And when you bury an entire family together and exorcise them, they will thank you with a unique specific to their lineage.
May the painters and poets of the Navalius family spread the story of the Eternal
These uniques better be good.
For example, the Navalius Inheritance Belt. I'll give you a moment.
Flask effect duration. Flask applied to you have reduced effect. Reduce flask effect duration per level. Flask applied to you have 1% increased effect per level. So at max level, it is 50% increased duration, 60% flask effect. No, wait, that doesn't make sense. Never mind. It's 50% reduced duration, 100%, 40% flask effect. I think that's pretty bad. For a belt slot, I think this is pretty bad.
To check that out.
And I'm not using this for leveling.
You can use other corpses alongside them to grant implicit mods.
If the duration was like 0 at max level,
mods,
then it would be
more.
good.
In this case, with the Parandus Pact, you can even change the modifiers it generates.
Oh, that's cool.
This unique is a jewel which adds extra stats to passive skills in a radius when socketed into the passive skill tree. The stats it adds are randomly generated, but you can bias it towards a specific type by using other crafting effects, such as this one, which increases the chance of getting life modifiers.
600%.
Let's see what we get.
600% is worse than Reforged more likely, right? Because that one is 1000%.
Damn, we didn't get it this time.
These global
I guess we're
crit
gonna have to
chance.
go and collect more corpses. Of course,
These are probably
you can
gonna be
trade the
decent.
corpses away to other players.
Oh,
All you
no.
need to do is purchase empty coffins from the Undertaker and use them on your
Not the
corpses in
bestiary
the morgue,
system.
which will itemize them.
That's gonna be
Another
annoying to
item in the
trade.
Acropolis League that you can find
You just
are
know
embers of
because
the
they're not gonna
Orflame.
stack. It's just gonna be
These are
annoying to
monster
trade.
spirits that remain living in the Orflame, a powerful ancient artifact of Rayclast.
Why is two
And
slots?
you can
Because
set them free
coffin.
by placing them in the
It's
Lantern
not a
of
square.
Aramor
It makes
and
sense for them,
defeating
or not a cube. It makes sense
These
for them to be
embers
two
drop
slots.
throughout Rayclast as itemized packs of monsters.
You know.
You are able to use these packs to
Wait.
replace the packs in areas. For example, we have
Drops
found this
tattoos.
Flame Ember of Tarfoa.
What?
We can now go to enter the next area and replace one of the monster packs in here.
What does he mean by tattoos?
You
Hold
can
up.
see we have also gotten one of the devoted modifiers to appear.
Are they just all back?
We can pair up the Karui ancestors with this modifier, making them even more rewarding. Let's go ahead and replace the tentacle miscreations. However, when replacing packs, you want to double check their density, as the new pack will inherit the density of the replaced pack. The Karui ancestors we have now added to our area can even drop basic variations of tattoos.
Basic variations.
If you
okay.
aren't aware, this is an
4%
item
flask
type
effect
from the
ratio.
Trial of the Ancestors League, which can be used on passive skills to change what they do.
Wasn't that 6
There
before?
are many different types of itemized packs.
I think
you
it
can
was
find
6
Breach
before.
and Legion monsters that drop splinters, untainted packs that provide insane amounts of experience, and even simple frogs, which can be used to replace difficult monsters to
Dude,
make life
I
easier.
remember these prophecies. The
And
frogs
of
were
course,
always fun to
these
kill.
Ember monsters can be raised as specters too. Finally, let's discuss how this league works in in-game maps.
Okay.
Each in-game map will allow you to manipulate it using the lantern on the map device UI. However, instead of randomly cycling every few minutes, it is fixed to that map. Once you view the map through the lantern, you cannot remove it from the map device, so you can't trade that map away now that you've seen it as too difficult for you, or has monsters in it that you'd rather avoid.
I think most people will just click
Like
enter without
porcupines.
reading. Let's be real.
We're also trying something new this time around. During the Necropolis League, there will be support for the league on the Atlas passive
So I don't
tree.
think it's a big problem.
Multiple clusters will be there, allowing you to enhance the gameplay, customize it,
That's
and
so
even change its
weird.
behavior in meaningful ways.
What?
One way that you can change the crafting in a meaningful way is with the
Do I like it? Wait, hold up. All corpses have difference of reveals a random craft when buried. Oh, that's interesting. Do I like the fact that the league mechanic is on the Atlas tree? Doesn't that mean it's probably weaker without the investment? I mean, maybe it's like modifiers. Maybe it's not necessarily strength. Like this one doesn't necessarily seem stronger or weaker. This might just be like a different one. I mean, I will have to look at the notes later. I mean, I like the fact that they're testing something new, but it's a little weird, right? Because normally you would. I think this will make less people do the league mechanic than otherwise would.
Heroes Wager Keystone.
That's why I don't necessarily like it.
With this keystone, all the monsters with unresolved anguish come with this crafting modifier, which causes them to generate a random craft when buried. This means instead of pre-planning your crafts, you have to adapt to them on the fly to get the best results. These clusters will not be available in Standard League.
That's interesting. That one
In
might be fun to
324, we've made a
crowd with,
plethora
but
of changes to the endgame. We've introducing new bosses, adding another tier of maps, and streamlining the Atlas. The most difficult and most rewarding content in Path of Exile can be found in Uber Pinnacle bosses, such as the Maven and the Searing Exarch.
okay.
Currently, the only way to access these bosses is by allocating specific keystones on the Atlas passive tree. While this system offers a nice element of control, it causes a problem. Rewards and access to the non-Uber variants
they're finally
are now
doing it.
economically priced around the rewards of the Uber fights.
They're finally
This
splitting
means
them.
it is wasteful to run the non-Uber variants instead of simply selling them. Another problem that we noticed is the
Finally,
difficulty
man,
jump between
that
the
was such a
Pinnacle and
bad
Uber
game
Pinnacle
design. Like, initially, it made sense because Ubers were meant as a challenge and they didn't really have extra rewards. But the second they put extra rewards on Ubers, this just needed to happen a few leagues ago. I mean, I'm glad they did it now. It also makes farming normal bosses a thing now, so a lot more people will actually be able to interact with bosses in general. This is an amazing change. This should have happened a long time ago. We always talk about this, how the system didn't really make change.
Content was relatively large, and there wasn't obvious content that could bridge this gap. Many players would give up on their characters before being able to defeat the Uber Pinnacle bosses. In 324, we will be making some changes to this. We are removing the keystones that give access to the Uber Pinnacle bosses from the Atlas tree, and instead we'll be adding a new set of fragments that give you access to this
Yo,
content.
those fragments look sick.
Where do you get these fragments? We are adding a new tier of maps, Tier 17 maps, which not only give you access to the Uber Pinnacle content, but also test your characters in new ways.
Wait, how hard
They
are these
feature
gonna
a
be?
new set of bosses, Uber monsters, and a new tier of modifiers that can roll on the maps.
Hold on, I need to. What does he mean by Uber monsters again?
Characters in new ways. They feature a new set of bosses.
Okay, so this summons
Uber
a
monsters,
Alicia that summons a Beyond boss.
and a new
There's a
tier of
random
modifiers that
Brutus.
can roll on the maps.
These mods are
There
insane.
are 5 new Tier 17 maps in total, with some surprising
maps,
boss fights
okay.
at the end. We'll look at a couple today, and the rest you'll have to discover for yourself. First, we have the Citadel map. This map contains an ancient Kalguran citadel.
Oh no, this
You will
is the
encounter
Uber
many
Utrecht.
expedition monsters as the signature packs throughout the map. At the end, you will fight Uber Utrecht.
Oh my.
This is a version of a boss from Expedition League, with all its abilities and mechanics enhanced. Uber Utrecht will even be able to summon 2 other expedition bosses to aid it during the
What?
fight.
So it's gonna summon
Secondly,
Vorana and
we have
Medved?
the Fortress map. This map is an impregnable fortress,
Not the
guarded by
highest.
monsters from the
He does
Heist
so
map.
much damage, man, this
At
guy.
the end, you will encounter
He just
an
normally
Uber
dies
version of
instantly.
the Unbreakable. Again, it has enhanced abilities and mechanics you'll have to learn and overcome. Each of the Tier 17 map bosses has a chance to drop a unique item, allowing for some target farming. However, these aren't entirely new unique
Is that
items.
Katarina?
Instead,
I mean,
we've taken other unique
looks like every
items,
Katarina
removing them
ability
from
plus
the
some
core drop
Stygian
pool and
spires.
rebalancing them to fit here. One example is this reworked version of Wraith Lord. It has 4 Abyss sockets, and allows you to summon an additional Spectre for each
Plus
ghastly
4
eye jewel
spectres?
socketed into it. Another example is
What?
Mana Storm. This has been rebalanced to grant a lot more damage than before,
3% increased mana
alongside some more
regenerate,
impactful mana
do-do-do-do.
stats, if you can get lucky rolls. Alongside adding Tier 17
I
maps,
can't tell if the
we have
mana
also
item is good
changed
or
the
not.
Uber Pinnacle bosses to have completely distinct unique item drop
I will
points
have to
from
look at
their
it later.
non-Uber counterparts. This means there is a reason to farm both versions. Let's take a look at the Shaper versus the Uber Shaper.
Okay.
The Shaper will drop these uniques: Voidwalker, Shaper's Touch, Solstice Vigil,
And
and
Dying Sun.
Whereas the Uber Shaper will drop these: Echoes of Creation, Sublime Vision,
Well, I mean,
Entropy's
Echoes Uber?
Devastation, Starforge, and a new unique
Really?
belt called the Tides of Time.
Tides of Time. Increased life recovery from flask, mana recovery. Flask applied to you have increased effect. Okay, that is actually pretty good. It's actually Mage Blood at home. But it works for unique flasks, kinda. Depends if you can divine these values. If you can divine this value to 3 per 3, then this is actually pretty good. This will actually be used. Cool unique.
Another example of a new unique is
Wait,
this
I wonder if
helmet
every
from
boss is gonna get a new unique, actually.
the Uber Eater of Worlds.
Oh.
Ravenous
Here's
Passion.
the answer.
And these gloves from the Uber series.
Rage
itself.
after spending mana.
Celestial
Rage
Bricks.
grants cast speed and
Each
spell
of the
damage.
Uber Pinnacle bosses has a new unique added to their drop
That's kind of
pools.
cool.
Whereby
Wait,
Uber
I didn't see the
Pinnacle bosses-
gloves. Attack speed per fortification, +8 to fort. +8. I don't think this is that good. I mean, it gives you extra, well, not necessarily support, but it gives you extra points on the tree. Actually, it's pretty good. But it's for an Uber unique, it's not that good.
has a new unique added to their drop pools. We've identified another major problem with the endgame we'd like to address. With every expansion added to the game, we have been increasing the complexity of running maps.
Yeah, that's true.
It's at the point now where a player must repeatedly execute a large sequence of steps to run maps efficiently.
Oh,
It can
they're
be
actually
easy
gonna
to
remove
forget critical
sextants.
steps,
I thought
and
we
it can
were
get
memeing
tiring to
yesterday.
repeat them.
Oh, sextants are
To
so
solve
gone.
this, we are
based on
removing
that.
some systems, but are keeping what is good about them. The two main systems we've removed are sextants and the master mission selector. It is
What?
not our intention to dull the content, however. We have
No master
completely
missions.
reworked Scarabs to include most of the options that were previously covered by those mechanics, and many, many more. Let's take a look at some of them. Commonly, you might
looking.
find Scarabs that simply grant access to different content. Here, we have a Scarab that causes Beyond Demons to spawn when killing monsters in your maps. And here, we have one that adds a Delirium Mirror.
Okay.
Each type of Scarab now has multiple
Wait, we have 5
versions.
Scarabs
So if
now?
you want to fully invest in a type of content, you can do so. Here's a suite of Ultimatum Scarabs.
They really felt like 4 wasn't enough?
This Ultimatum Scarab adds an Ultimatum encounter to a map.
Okay.
This Ultimatum Scarab of bribing then causes that Ultimatum encounter to grant better
That's still
rewards
kind of whatever.
and its monsters to yield more
Not
experience.
that interesting.
This Ultimatum Scarab of dueling will cause that Ultimatum encounter to always guarantee the
Okay,
Trial Master
what?
boss fight at the end. Assuming you
Okay,
can
okay,
survive
okay,
through
now
all the
we-
rounds.
Now we talking.
This Ultimatum Scarab of catalyzing will cause all rewards from that ultimatum to be catalysts, instead of other rewards.
That seems like a lot of catalysts.
And finally, this Ultimatum Scarab of Inscription will cause all catalyst rewards from that ultimatum to be inscribed ultimatums instead.
Wait, can I put in 2 ultimatum scarabs? That probably doesn't work, does it? Imagine you combine the 4th and 5th. If you can do that, that would be sick.
There are plenty of others. If you enjoy
You can?
divination
Oh,
card
that's sick,
farming,
then.
you might want to use these. This Divination Scarab of Curation causes
per
more
different
divination
favored
cards to drop
map.
for each different favored map you have selected.
Wait, that's
But
sick!
it also causes whatever map you're running to only drop divination cards from those favored maps. So if you want to try and aim for your Mage Blood and don't want to just farm Crimson Temple, then this Scarab is for you.
Yo,
This Divination Scarab
that's
of
such a sick
Completion
change.
causes your divination cards to have a 20% chance to drop as a full stack instead, for maximum dopamine.
That's
Basically,
also cool.
there are now just a lot of Scarabs. You might have also noticed that they no longer have tiers. Scarabs are now all world drops. You can get them
Okay,
anywhere.
these changes are sick.
Some might be rarer
The
than
Scarab
others,
Changes.
but the intention is that there'll be a lot more options than before.
Wait,
and
are we
more
just gonna
interesting
get infinite
combinations to
scarabs
consider.
mapping?
If you want to target specific Scarabs, Betrayal has been updated to include most of them, and you will need to relearn which
Wait, but
ones
Betrayal
come
only
from
gives
where.
1 scarab, so I don't know about that.
While this system is allowing you to heavily invest in one type of content, it is reducing your capacity for variety. To address this, we have massively increased access to content on the Atlas passive tree.
Those
You are now
nodes are
able to reliably
strong.
get different leagues like Breach or Legion from just your Atlas passives. Regarding master missions, content such as Incursion, Delve, Betrayal, and Bestiary, these too are now accessible with Scarabs, and have more reliable investment options on the tree. Not only this, you can now get Jun, Einhar, Alva, and Nico to appear together in the same map. We have also removed some keystones such as Wandering Path,
Whoa.
Grand Design, and Growing Hordes, but have added some new ones
Whoa,
too.
whoa, whoa, no Wandering Path, Grand Design, and Growing Hordes, huh? Grand Design, I mean, people used it sometimes. It was like, okay. Wandering Path was obviously progression keystone, and sometimes endgame too. And no growing hordes. Growing hordes was like okay. I used it to farm harvest, but that's pretty much it. League start Atlas progression is gonna be slower unless but that's not a big deal. I don't think everyone has been rushing Wandering Path. It's mostly speedrun thing.
For
Not
example,
a big deal.
Unwavering Vision.
Your maps cannot be modified by fragments other than Divine Vessels. Scarabs cannot be found in your maps. Grant 20 Atlas skill points. I'm not clicking this. This is like I play SS7 and I'm extremely lazy and I don't want to interact with anything type of Keystone, but I feel like even in SS7 you would want to stock up on Scarabs. Second League start. I mean, you know where the position is on the skill tree. I'm not rushing that. Your maps randomly have between 0 to 80% more modifier effect. Extra content cannot appear in your maps. Cannot apply influence to your maps. What? That's so weird. That actually kind of sounds like fun though when your build sucks. But that's so weird.
And thorough exploration.
If there are fewer than 50 monsters remaining in your maps, final map bosses are empowered by affliction wisps. Oh god. How many? What's the number? What is the number, man? Bosses only though, but still. That's cool.
And we have added some new notables, such as Remarkable Relics, which
Scarabs
allows you to
are
try
more likely
find
to be
better
less.
variants of Scarabs.
Okay, you probably wanna click that most of the time. This seems really, really good. I'm assuming.
Relics, which allows you to try find better variants of Scarabs. Mounting Modifiers, which increases the values of modifiers on your maps by 2% for each explicit modifier. And Tainted Carapaces,
That's pretty good, actually.
which is just one in a set of many that allow you to target farm specific types of Scarabs.
Oh, that's sick for
These are
SSF.
just a few of the many new notables that can be found on the Atlas passive skill tree. Lastly, we are giving you more flexibility in what content you want to run in the endgame. In 3.24, you can now have multiple copies of the Atlas tree, which can be swapped
love
between
this
maps
so
at your
much.
leisure. You can unlock up to
This
2
is the
extra
best
trees
change.
for a total of 3 by progressing through the endgame.
I'm surprised they
and
gave us
completing
3,
core
honestly.
When
I
you
was
open a
thinking
map,
even
you can
asking for
select
1
which
is
tree
too
you would
much, like
to
1
use.
extra. The fact that
For
we
a
got
given
2.
league, you'll never feel constrained to playing your endgame a single
Harvest and
way.
Scarab. Oh,
You
PMF
can also
strat.
label your trees to easily identify which one has which content.
Yo, Fab, I didn't know you
With
actually,
all this combined,
playtested
we're
for
hoping to see new
GGG.
endgame strategies shine through.
This is so sick. I love this.
While playing through the campaign in 3.24, you'll notice a myriad of
Okay,
small
improvements
and
doesn't mean
surprises.
making campaign harder.
The fundamentals of the campaign
Whoa,
are
that's
still
a Legion
intact,
in Climb.
but we've scattered fun encounters and secrets throughout Rayclass.
Okay, I like that.
The Dweller of the Deep has been trapped.
What? Dweller is just an essence?
What are these ritual shrines doing in the northern forest?
Okay. I mean, ritual is good early, usually.
Why are they giving me omens?
That is a good question. Why are they giving you omens? Wait, that's a solid omen.
This device looks safe. I
What?
should definitely use this on my items.
What?
There are plenty
You just have
more
a
encounters to
corrupting
discover.
altar in the
We'll continue
campaign.
adding more surprises in future releases, so keep an eye out.
That's kind
In
of
the
sick.
previous
Wait,
expansion, 3.23, we released.
are they hinting that Fairgrace is getting harder
Discover.
based on this?
We'll continue adding more surprises in future releases, so keep an eye out.
Or just that you
In the previous
leave
expansion,
right on Fairgraves?
3.23, we released a large
Which
number
one
of
is it?
transfigured skill gems. These are alternate versions of existing skill gems that function in very different ways, allowing for more build and gameplay variety. At the time, our aspirations were higher than we could achieve. We planned more gems than we could make. So, in 3.24, we're adding another set of transfigured gems that we have now finished. Ice Shot, Incinerate, Artillery Ballista, Tornado,
Tornado
Elemental
looks sick.
Hit,
They showed it in the
Kinetic
playthroughs
Blast.
before.
Poisonous Concoction, and lastly, Summon Holy Relic.
Eh.
Hopefully those of you who missed your favorite skill having a
Okay,
transfigured
these skills don't
variant
really
will get
appeal to
that
me, I'm
here.
gonna be real.
We will certainly be adding more of these in the future, especially for skills that are missing them still. Of course, we'll also be doing a balance pass on the existing transfigured gems.
Oh no.
One of the main ones we're looking at is Kinetic Bolt of Fragmentation. As a result of this change, it is clear that the endgame potential of the Wander archetype really starts to suffer, mostly in the single target damage department. Due to this, we've added the new support gem, Sacred Wisps. This support gem causes supported skills to create 2 attached wisps for a duration. With these wisps, whenever you attack, they have a chance to also use the same skill.
Wait, it's like 2 Mirage Archers.
And if there are any rare or unique enemies, they will always use the skill. That leads us into all the other quality of life features we're introducing in
That's actually pretty cool. That might make Wonders pretty good.
Many of these have been revealed in teasers already, but here's a quick summary.
We have seen these, right?
We've added the automation and call to arms skill gems for being able to trigger instant skills and war cries.
That's what I'm again, in case there's something new.
You can now hold down Control and left click to automatically apply certain currency orbs until they achieve the desired result, or you run out. For example, you can hold down fusings until you reach maximum links. You will be able to control, shift, click
I still love this change so
into a
much.
trade window to automatically move all of that currency at once.
I really wish we could do it into Stash though.
Detonate Dead now has clearer telegraphing effects. When harvest crafting, the item hover will always be visible, so you no longer have to mouse back and forth to see the results.
Give us regex now.
When you use a Val Orb on a map, the map no longer has a chance to become unidentified. Instead, it adds a new implicit. We've created a set of implicits that affect the areas in fun ways. Related to that, corrupted and mirrored items can now be identified.
What?
Breach hands
That's
now
a very
open
niche
upon
thing.
approach, and no longer need to be clicked. Upgrades to Pantheon powers now apply to all characters in a league. You no longer need to grind Divine Vessels on each new character. With Harvest Crafting, you can now re-roll Uber Elder fragments. Fragments dropped by the Shaper cannot be re-rolled into fragments dropped by the Elder, and vice versa. Regarding Betrayal, we're removing Ashling's crafting bench as a reward. Instead, Veiled Orbs now perform that function. They remove a mod and replace it with a Veiled mod.
Wait a second. 95 Life is not a mod that normally rolls on boots, does it? Is that a tier 0? That is a tier 0. Or something, because... Oh, it might be a greed essence, actually. Like a deafening greed. Yeah, it might be the deafening greed, maybe. I forgot about that. That's interesting, though, that they... I wonder if that's a specific way of showing that. I wonder if this was crafted with Necropolis or something.
These orbs now drop from Katarina and
Interesting.
are no longer a world drop. Flasks can now be corrupted by Val Orbs, giving random -10 to +10 quality. The capability to add extra quality to weapons, armors, and flasks has been removed from Betrayal. The Betrayal bench craft that converts an amulet to a talisman has been moved to Bestiary, and thus can be traded. Maven invitations no longer drop. Instead, when you have completed witnessing all bosses required to go to the Maven's arena, you can just talk to Karak, and he'll open a map device window with the invitation already in there.
This is the best SSL change ever. I mean, it's good change even for trade.
Invitations now give Scarabs. No more having to waste Guardian kills to try get invitations to drop. Next up, we're going to be talking about our new
the
League
most
supporter
important
packs.
news.
Today,
Let's go.
We're launching 2 new series of supporter packs, the Solar and Eldritch packs.
Get the credit cards ready.
Each tier contains the full pack's face value and points, alongside several exclusive microtransactions.
What does
These
turtle
packs are
time
only
mean?
available for the duration of the Necropolis League.
Is there
and will
some
leave the store
crazy
forever when
turtle
it
supporter
ends.
pack?
As always, the microtransactions in these packs are purely cosmetic and do not affect your character's power or progression in any way. The Solar series of
Wait,
supporter
he's on
packs
a
contains
turtle.
6 exclusive microtransactions. The Cosmos weapon effect adorns your weapon with stars.
That looks sick,
Hitting
actually.
enemies
What?
causes cosmic energy to spill out into the area around them.
The
Radiant
actual
Orb of
attack
Chance
is whatever,
extra
but
effect
the
projects the outcome of
enchant
items
looks
you've
real
used an
sick.
Orb of Chance on above your head. Remember to congratulate other exiles in town if you see them chance a
I
powerful
hope Captain
unique
Lance buys
item.
this one. He's like the only one who would actually get use out of it.
Shine boldly with the Solar Knight armor set. The power of the sun radiates from your body, getting more and more intense as you use skills and emitting solar flares as you run.
Not a fan.
With the supernova level up extra effect, the dead will be raised from the ground around
Okay,
you
that one's sick.
before being obliterated and turned to ash by an epic supernova whenever you level up.
That's a cool leveling effect.
This one is my personal favorite.
Oh, this
the
is
Cosmic
it.
Turtle
Oh
hideout
my.
lets you travel
That's
the
sick.
infinite
Oh.
expanse of the cosmos.
It's gonna be so
atop the back
expensive,
of a
though.
Colossal turtle.
I bet it's one of the
Carry the weight of
expensive
the sun
ones,
on your
but it's so
back with the
sick.
Solar Guardian back attachment. Witness it grow larger and larger as the
Minus
energy of
90?
slain enemies is
Yeah, I'm
funneled
probably
into
buying a turtle,
When it
man.
reaches its maximum size, it goes supernova and turns into a black hole, forever drifting throughout Rayclast.
You're probably buying a turtle.
The Eldritch Pack series also has 6 exclusive microtransactions. Are you wondering if we moved the stash in the
What?
latest patch? Don't be fooled, because with the Mimic Stash pet, players can transform into an image of a stash
That's
when
so
in a town or
dumb.
hideout and scare unsuspecting exiles. This pet follows behind you with its terrifying
so
hand
dumb.
walking the rest of the time.
Just sit next to his
The
stash.
Shaper's Slam finisher effect sends slain unique enemies into a
Final abyss of unending darkness.
The Eldritch Hunger armor set contains a beast that demands you defeat it by embracing your bloodlust. Watch it grow in power the more you kill until it bursts from the shell of the helmet. Are you able to satiate its hunger? The seed within the corrupted growth
Okay,
map
that is a
device expands
sick
its
map
grasp on
device.
the hideout, the more maps you complete on your atlas. Equipping the Headhunter character effect causes skulls of slain rare enemies to whirl around you like trophies. They become enraged when you are near a rare enemy you are yet to kill, wishing for them to join your collection. Witness a reality where the struggle didn't exist, allowing the Eldritch Horrors to settle their own conflicts with the Eldritch Horror Apparition effect.
Wait, Exarch just wins.
Which of the Eater of Worlds or Searing Exarch do you think will win?
I feel like Eater is supposed to be
These
stronger.
packs are now available for purchase on both PC and console, and will remain so during Path of Exile Necropolis. Meanwhile, the Shade and Disciple packs leave the store forever at the launch of Necropolis League, so now's your last chance to purchase them. Thank you so much for your ongoing support.
Okay, that was a lot. That was a lot, man. I mean, I feel like these changes are mostly good. Was there anything that was not good? I will watch the rest, don't worry. I'm just thinking about like Q&A actually important. Oh, I will watch it, don't worry. No ascendancy changes, at least as far as I know so far. So I feel like if there was like a big rework,
Games.
we would have seen it. The Veldor crafting nerf, but hopefully the Necropolis League supplements that. Okay, it's time to complain about the league mechanic actually, before I even interact with it. Number one, why do I have to click collect on the corpse? Why doesn't it automatically get collected? Number two, why does the crafting take so long? Why is the animation so long? And then, like, the whole process is just like, why? You know? And number three, I don't know if I like the fact that we have to interact with the league mechanic on entering a new zone, and that it's not a choice. So these would be the three problems I would have with the league mechanic. Otherwise, the patch itself is really good. I think any change to the core game seems really sick. I'm not sure about the league mechanic yet. Okay. Time to skip this thing and then watch the Q&A.
Contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. You. Because with the Mimics, suck do you notes. With release at the end of next week, our community team will be posting crucial information you'll need for Necropolis' release. Keep an eye on the news. On release weekend, we expect to launch the new Mystery Box and this season's Kerax Vault Pass. Thank you for joining us today and checking out our latest developments. We're looking forward to doing some awesome gravecrafts and conquering the new endgame bosses with you next week. We'll begin the Q&A shortly.
I love
please
Twitch
get
chat,
your
man.
questions.
Two messages right below each other. Q&A was so bad. Really good interview by Ziggy IMO. Like, how can Twitch chat be this divisive? This is like literally politics, man. It's insane. How... Okay, let's skip this part. Oh, sorry.
Hi, I'm Chris Wilson from Grinding Gear Games.
Hi, Chris.